Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, a year ago, the event which I'm going to describe now would be headline news all over South Africa. But it is so commonplace that it doesn't bear a mention pretty well, except for maybe a couple of papers. What is it? It's a complete shutdown of an entire town by a group of people. And it's Rustenburg, which is west of Pretoria. Taxi operators in Rustenburg on Thursday gave the local municipality 2 weeks to respond to their demands. The Bajanala 1 Regional Taxi Council staged a peaceful march to the municipality on Thursday to hand over a memorandum of demands relating to their operations. The march was also to highlight the taxi industry's stance on gender-based violence and xenophobia. Spokesman Bruno Yelani said the municipality must reply to their memorandum within 14 working days or they would embark on more serious actions. See the implied threat? In the memorandum, they demanded that the municipality maintain the taxi ranks and install lights. The memorandum said, "We demand the fixing of the public toilets at the taxi and bus ranks. We demand the removal of the Nyalpi boys, the drug addicts, in and around the taxi and bus ranks." They further wanted those operating illegal taxi buses to be arrested and the removal of Uber and Taxify. Taxi commuters were stranded and businesses closed as the taxi industry took to the streets. Commuters on the R510 corridor were hitchhiking, while those in Paardekraal, Sunrise Park and Ramachana walked to town about 10 kilometers away. Those who were knocking off after their night shift found no taxis at the ranks. The police monitored the march and a police helicopter circled above. Despite the march being peaceful, most of the businesses in the inner city were closed. There was a commotion when Mayor Committee Member, or MMC, responsible for technical and infrastructure, Lucky Gagaladi, came to receive the memorandum on behalf of Mayor Mfo Kohunu. Taxi operators want Kohunu to personally receive their memorandum. However, Chairperson Serami Sebega explained that Kohunu was not available to receive their memorandum as he was not in South Africa. Kagaladi said the municipality would respond to the memorandum within the stipulated 2-week period. So, a major event in a small town which basically brings the whole town to a halt, and then threats of even more severe action if they don't get action in 2 weeks, is not even news anymore in South Africa. That's quite extraordinary. But you know, when you look at the level of crime, and there's several articles today in South African media about crime being out of control. And AfriForum actually have a very, very interesting statement on this very subject, and I'll read that to you. The civil rights organization AfriForum took note of South Africa's crime statistics for the 2018-2019 financial year, which were released earlier today by the South African Police Service, and they looked at this with grave concern. The rise in violent crime and especially murder should come as no surprise after the Army's deployment in the Western Cape to assist the SAPS, or South African Police Service, as well as the SAPS's shocking retreat from angry rioters in the Johannesburg CBD just over a month ago. The exceptions are perhaps Police Minister Bheki Cele and President Cyril Ramaphosa, who are generally shocked and surprised by facts long known to other South Africans. And I think everybody knew how bad the crime was in South Africa. You'd have to be completely blind, deaf and dumb not to know. As if this isn't bad enough, the media is riddled with negative articles on the poor state of the SAPS. They lost over 9.5 million rounds of ammunition and 4,357 firearms over the past 6 financial years. And the word is they don't have any ammunition now. You know, they actually have empty guns when they walk around. Now that's great when you're taking on crims with AK-47s. The police were also instructed by the National Treasury to reduce their budget by 5% or 5 billion rand, 6% or 6.5 billion rand, and 7% or 7.8 billion rand in the next 3 financial years. Moreover, they had 5 different national commissioners over the past 10 years. Kela Sitoli, the current national commissioner, even admitted to Parliament that the SAP's mandate is overstretched and impossible to fulfill, said Manus Kamfer, legal and risk manager at AfriForum. Ordinary police officers are daily victims of a failing government and a police service leadership, a lack of ammunition to complete their firearms competency, and a lack of rape kits at police stations were only the most recent examples of how their important work is being sabotaged by an uncaring, incompetent department and top management. Subsequently, it should come as no surprise that the number of police reservists, people who sacrifice their personal time to aid the police, has declined since 2010, and listen to this. Since 2010, the number of police reservists has shrunk from 63,592 to 8,908 today. And I actually did report on this a couple of days ago. Kamfer said, with this in mind, communities truly have no other option left but to organize themselves in neighborhood watches to protect themselves. AfriForum's 142 neighborhood watches are great examples of how communities can organize themselves and work together with other role players, including the SAPS at station level, to ensure a safer environment and a decrease in crime, Kamfer said. Now, I earlier today posted a video where I talked about how different communities are now going into mob rule stage, where they just don't depend on the police anymore. They just take the law into their own hands. And that is because they're desperate. The brutality at the township level is just quite extraordinary, and something which happens daily in South Africa. The coloureds are less brutal, as I showed in a video earlier today. They just tend to give someone a bit of a whip around. And the white community, as I said earlier today, they tend to try and still depend on the police if there's a home break-in or something like that, but very often they have to depend on private security because the police are missing in action. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video, and above all, stay safe. Bye for now.